The $12,000 secret. I signed his death warrant, then discovered the lie that took 10 years of my life. For 10 years, I thought my father had simply chosen a cruel, greedy stranger over me. When I finally saw him in that hospital bed, he was ready to die, but not before giving me one last mission: expose the lie that cost him everything. I signed the Do Not Resuscitate order and took on the war. I exposed the fraud, watched the illegal GoFundMe campaign crumble, and stood by his side until his very last breath. But just as I was ready to bury my pain and walk away, the nurse handed me a hidden key. That key unlocked a storage unit, a secret Dad kept for 10 years. It held not only proof that he fought for me until the end, but something far more valuable than I could have ever imagined, and a final twist of the knife from the woman who tried to claim everything. Where are you listening from? Let me know in the comments below, because what I found in that box changed everything.
I woke in the morning to a text from a woman I haven't spoken to in a decade. The message was simple. Colt, your father has stage 4 biliary tract cancer. He has weeks, maybe days. We need $9,500 for at-home palliative care. You owe him this much. I actually laughed, not a happy laugh, but the kind that comes from somewhere dark inside you when the cosmos decides to test just how much irony you can handle. Let me back up. My mother, Eleanor, died when I was 21 from lung cancer. She fought for 2 years and I watched every second of it. I dropped out of the State University of Alta to take care of her because Dad was always too busy with work to be there. Work meant the Riverside Pard Hall 50 minutes from our house in Sterling, Arizona, but I didn't know that yet. Mom had a life insurance policy for $350,000, and before she passed, she made me promise I'd use some of it for school. She grabbed my hand with those thin fingers that used to be so strong and said, "Audrey, honey, you finish that degree. You become something. Don't let anyone tell you you can't." I promised her. I meant it. She died on a Monday. The funeral was Thursday. By the following Tuesday, Dad had already met Sylvie, a roulette croupier at the Diamond Creek Lodge, with striking red hair, chunky silver jewelry, and a smile that never quite reached her eyes. She was 45, Dad was 60. Mom had been gone exactly 10 days when he brought her to our house for dinner. I should have seen the red flags, all of them, bright and waving, but I was drowning in grief, and Dad, Arthur, seemed happy for the first time in months. I thought maybe, just maybe, he deserved some happiness too. I thought I was being selfish for feeling uncomfortable. Sylvie moved in 4 weeks later. The life insurance money came through about a month after the funeral. Mom had set it up so Dad was the beneficiary, with the understanding that he'd handle everything properly. Set up a trust for me, pay off the mortgage, invest the rest. I trusted him. Why wouldn't I? He was my father. I should mention that I had moved back home after Mom got sick. I had been at SUA studying cultural history, living in a dorm, but when she got really bad, I came home. After she died, I was still there, sleeping in my childhood bedroom with the planets painted on the ceiling that Dad had put up when I was 9. One morning, about 7 weeks after Mom passed, I came downstairs to find Sylvie sitting at the kitchen table applying a face mask. She didn't look up. "Morning," I said. She peeled off a strip. "Your father and I need to talk to you tonight." Something in her tone made my stomach drop. "About what?" "Tonight," she repeated. Dad came home early from work, actual work. This time, he was a senior estimator for an environmental firm. Good job, decent money. Or it had been decent money before. We sat in the den, the same den where Mom and I used to watch nature documentaries together, where she taught me how to tie fishing knots, where we'd spent her last birthday watching Roman Holiday while she dozed in and out on the armchair. Sylvie sat close to Dad on that same couch. Too close. Possessive. "Audrey," Dad started, and I knew it was bad because he never called me Audrey. I was always Ow. We've made some decisions about the future. Okay, I said slowly. Sylvie jumped in. Your father and I are marrying in the spring. We're going to start fresh, build a new life together. I felt like I was underwater. Married? Mom's been gone for 7 weeks. People grieve differently, Precious, Sylvie said, but the way she said precious felt like a bruise. Dad wouldn't meet my eyes, and we've decided to invest the insurance money. My blood went cold. Invest it? Mom wanted that money for your mother wanted us to be happy, Sylvie interrupted, and your father has been carrying the weight of this family for too long. We're going to invest in a land development opportunity. A colleague of mine is forming a limited partnership, and we're going to be lead investors. I looked at Dad. You can't be serious. He finally looked at me, and I saw something I'd never seen before. Desperation. It's a great opportunity, Al. We could double the money, quadruple it. Then there would be plenty for your school. Mom wanted me to go back to school now. That was the whole point. That was her dying request. Sylvie sighed dramatically. You're being very self-absorbed right now. This is about securing all of our futures. All of our futures. I stood up. You've known my father for 12 weeks. Audrey, sit down, Dad said, and his voice had an edge I'd never heard before. I sat not because I wanted to, but because I was in shock. He said, the funds are in my name. Legally, I can do what I want with them. But I'm trying to include you in this conversation because you're my daughter, and I care about you. If you cared about me, you would honor what Mom wanted. Sylvie made a little noise in her throat. Oh, here we go, the martyrdom. Listen, darling, your mom isn't here anymore. Life evolves. You're 21 years old. You're an adult. Maybe it's time you behaved like one and secured your own income instead of expecting subsidies. I looked at my father, waited for him to defend me, to say something. He said nothing. I went to my room and cried for 4 hours. 3 months later, they got married at a registry office in Oak Haven. I wasn't invited. I found out from a brief mention in a group chat. The land development fell through. Of course it did. The colleague disappeared with $150,000. Just vanished. No partnership, no development, no trace. Dad started investing in penny stocks to try to make back the money. That's what he told me anyway, during one of our increasingly rare phone calls. He was going to win it back. He had a system. He was good at assessing risk. He wasn't good at assessing risk. Within 8 months, the $350,000 was gone. Every penny. The house went into receivership. Dad's credit was ruined, and I was still living at home, working double shifts at an art supply store, trying to save enough to go back to school on my own. Sylvie started to change around this time. Or maybe she'd always been this way and just stopped disguising it. She'd make little comments. Must be nice to reside gratis while everyone else contributes. Never mind that I was working 50 hours a week and giving Dad money for supplies. She'd use my belongings and deny it. My moisturizer, my stationery, even my winter coat. I found her wearing my mom's brooch once, the gold one with the small amethyst that had been my grandmother's. When I asked for it back, she said it was hers now, that Dad had given it to her. Dad confirmed this, said Mom would have wanted Sylvie to have it. I stopped talking to him for 2 months after that. Things got worse when they had to move out of the house. They rented a small unit in a deteriorating district. There was only 1 bedroom, and Sylvie made it very clear I wasn't wanted. You're an adult now. Time to find your own place. I was 22 years old. I had $950 in savings. I ended up leasing a bedroom in a shared house with 3 other people. It was all I could afford. The room was barely bigger than a storage unit, and I could hear everything through the thin walls, but it was mine. I picked up a 3rd job, working nights at a pharmacy stocking shelves. I was exhausted all the time. I was angry all the time. I grieved my mother all the time. Dad and I would meet for lunch occasionally. He looked terrible, gaunt, shaking. His hands trembled. He swore he was going to fix things. He just needed one winning streak, one big return. Sylvie never came to these meetings. She said I made her uneasy. On my 23rd birthday, Dad forgot to call. Sylvie posted pictures on the social network of them at a horse racing track celebrating her birthday, which was 3 weeks away. I cried myself to sleep that night in my storage unit room, wondering how my life had become this. Then things got really bad. I was 24 when it happened. I had finally saved enough to take one course at the local technical institute. Just one. Introduction to Digital Media. It wasn't much, but it felt like keeping a promise to Mom. Dad called me on a Thursday night. He sounded weird, distressed. "Can you come over?" he asked. "Can we discuss?" "About what?" "Just come over, please." I drove to their unit. It was in a complex that had seen better decades. Boarded up windows, discarded furniture on the lawn. Dad's motorcycle wasn't there, but Sylvie's car was. She answered the door. "Oh, good. You actually appeared." "Where's Dad?" "Working late. Come in." I should have left. Every instinct told me to leave, but I went in. The unit was a mess. Delivery cartons on the floor, dirty dishes piled high. It smelled like stale tobacco, even though Dad didn't smoke. Sylvie did, apparently. "Want a beverage?" she asked. "No thanks." What did Dad want to talk about? She poured herself something amber from a bottle I didn't recognize. "Actually, I'm the one who called."
I used his phone. "Why?" She sat down on the armchair, adjusted her shawl. "We need to have a conversation, person to person." I stayed standing. "About what?" "About you releasing him." "Excuse me?" She took a long drink. "Your father feels culpable about you all the time. It's draining. He can't move forward with his life because you're always there judging him, making him feel bad about your mother." I felt heat rise in my face. "I don't make him feel anything. He squandered money that was supposed to what? Pay for you to go to college. Audrey, you're 24 years old. Most people have debt. Most people earn their way through school. You act like you're the only person who ever had to scramble. My mother died 2 years ago. How long are you going to use that as a justification?" I should have walked out. I should have left right then. "I'm not using anything as an excuse. I just think—" "You just think everyone owes you something," she interrupted. "You think the world should cease because you had a tough time. Well, guess what? Life is challenging for everyone. Your father lost his spouse too. Did you ever think about that? He was grieving too. But he had to deal with you being volatile and dependent on top of everything else." My hands were shaking. "If Dad feels this way, he should tell me himself. He's too empathetic. He pities you." She poured another drink. "But I don't. I see you for what you are, a petulant young woman who can't accept that her daddy advanced." "You're inebriated." "I'm honest." She stood up, swaying slightly. "And here's some more honesty. Your father and I are trying to have a child. We're trying to start a true family. But we can't do that with you hovering around being a constant memory of his old life." Something broke inside me. A true family? I'm his daughter. "You're a grown woman who needs to find her own existence." She moved closer. "So here's what's going to happen. You're going to stop calling, stop soliciting meetings, stop making him feel guilty. You're going to let him be happy." "Does Dad know you're saying this to me?" She smiled. It was chilling. "Your dad does whatever I instruct him to do. You haven't grasped that yet?" I turned to leave. That's when she grabbed my wrist. "We're not finished conversing," she said. I pulled away. "Don't make contact with me." She grabbed me again, harder this time. Her long fingernails dug into my skin. "You don't abandon me."
I pushed her off. Not hard, just enough to get free, but she was inebriated and she was wearing pointed boots and she fell backward into the wooden trolley table. Ceramics shattered. She screamed. I stood there frozen, watching red spread across her pale blouse. "You lunatic!" she shrieked. "You attacked me!" "I didn't. You grabbed me." She pulled out her phone. "I'm calling the authorities. You trespassed into our home and assaulted me." "That's not what happened." But she was already cried into the phone, telling the operator that her stepdaughter had attacked her, that she was bleeding, that she was terrified. I ran. I got in my car and drove. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely hold the wheel. I went back to my rented room and sat on the floor trying to process what had just happened. The police came 3 hours later. Sylvie had pictures. Her arm where I'd grabbed her, the cuts from the broken ceramics, the destroyed trolley table. She had a witness, too, a neighbor who heard her scream. I tried to explain, tried to tell them she'd grabbed me first, that I'd just been defending myself. They looked at my arms, no marks, no contusions. "Sometimes in these familial disputes," the older officer said, not unkindly, "it's best if everyone takes some time to cool down. We're not arresting anyone tonight, but I'd suggest you stay away from your father's dwelling for a while." "She's fabricating this," I said. "That may be," he said, "but she's the one with visible injuries." After they left, I called Dad. It went to voicemail. I called again. And again. 15 times. He finally answered. "Odd, I can't speak right now. Dad, Sylvie is fabricating this. She grabbed me first. I was just trying to leave and she's at the clinic getting sutures because she fell. She was inebriated and she fell, and I think you need to keep your distance for a while." The words hit me like a physical blow. "You don't believe me." Silence. "Dad, I'm your daughter. I would never." "Sylvie wouldn't deceive me." And that was it. That was the moment I lost my father. "She's controlling you," I said. "Can't you see that? She's been controlling you since the day you met her. She wanted Mom's money, and now she wants me gone, and she'll say whatever she needs to say to—" "Enough," he said, and his voice was cold. "I don't know who you've become, Odd, but your mother would be ashamed." He hung up. I sat in my storage unit room and something inside me just chattered. I didn't cry. I was beyond crying. I was numb. 3 days later, I got a protective order in the mail. Temporary, pending a hearing. Sylvie claimed she feared for my safety, that I had a history of erratic behavior, that I blamed her for my mother's passing and had intimidated her multiple times. All lies. Every word. But she had evidence. Pictures, a police report, a witness. I had nothing. The hearing was a mockery. Sylvie showed up with a legal representative. She wept on the stand, said she tried so hard to connect with me, to be there for me, but I rejected every attempt. She said I was unstable, that I needed help. The magistrate granted the permanent protective order. I had to stay at least 600 feet away from her at all times. Since she lived with my father, that meant I had to stay away from him too. I tried to call Dad after the hearing. He didn't answer. I sent him a letter. It came back unopened. I sent a message via a secure network. He blocked me. Finally, I showed up at his office building. I waited in the parking structure for his shift to end. When he came out, he looked right at me and kept walking. "Dad," I called out, "please." He got in his motorcycle. "I'm your daughter. Please just talk to me." He drove away. That was the last time I saw him. That was 10 years ago. I'm 34 now. I finished my degree. It took me 7 years of night classes and working full-time, but I did it. I'm a communications analyst for a tech startup. It's not cultural history, but it's close enough. I have my own loft. A real one, not a storage unit. I have a partner named Daniel, who's kind and stable and nothing like my father. I built a life. I went to counseling, extensive counseling. I learned about covert emotional manipulation. I learned about accommodators and dependents. I learned about how grief can make people do terrible things. I learned how to move forward. I hadn't thought about my father in months when that text came through. I read it 3 times. Then I read it again. You owe him this much. I laughed that dark laugh again. I blocked the number. I went back to sleep. The next morning there was an email from an address I didn't recognize. Hello, Audrey. This is Sylvie. I know you blocked my number. Your father is dying. He's asking for you. Whatever happened in the past, he's your father. He needs assistance. We can't afford specialized hospice care. State aid doesn't cover what he requires. He's in agony. Please, I'm pleading with you. I stared at the email for a long time. Then I searched for palliative care costs. $9,500 was actually on the low end for the level of care Dad would need. I had the money. I'd been saving. I had almost $50,000 in my savings account. Emergency fund, seed investment fund, future fund. $9,500 wouldn't ruin me, but it wasn't about the money. I wrote back. Sylvie, I'm sorry my father is unwell. I truly am. But I haven't spoken to him in 10 years because he chose you over me. He believed your fabrications. He allowed you to control him into severing contact. I tried to maintain a relationship and was met with a protective order based on false claims. I owe him nothing. I wish him peace, but I cannot and will not help. Please don't contact me again. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. 3 hours later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. You selfish, callous harpy. Sylvie, I told you not to contact me. Your father is dying. He's in torment. He can barely take a breath, and you're worried about your feelings about something that happened a decade ago? You mean when you falsely accused me of assault and turned my father against me? I never falsely accused you of anything. You attacked me. I grabbed you first. I barely touched you. You threw me into a table. I took a breath. Remembered my counseling. Don't engage with narcissists. They'll distort everything. I'm hanging up now. Wait, she said, and her voice changed, softer. Wait, please. I'm sorry. I'm just overwhelmed. He's so sick. Audrey, you should see him. He's not the same man. I'm sure he's not. He talks about you when he's clear. He says your name. Something twisted in my chest. I ignored it. He had 10 years to reach out to me. He chose not to. He was ashamed of what? Believing you? Of everything? Of what he did to you? With the money? With me? All of it. I didn't say anything. He wanted to contact you so many times, she continued. But he thought you resented him. He thought it was too late. It is too late. It's never too late. He's your father. He stopped being my father when he chose you over me. Silence on the other end. Then, I know you hate me. I understand that. But he's going to pass away, Audrey. Soon. If you have any mercy at all. Mercy? You want to talk to me about mercy? You made my life miserable. You took everything from me. My father, my mother's remembrance, my sense of security in my own family, and now you want me to pay for his care. Where was his mercy when I was working 3 jobs, when I was sleeping in a storage unit, when I was begging him just to speak to me? He made blunders. People make blunders. And people live with the consequences. I hung up, but my hands were shaking. The emails continued, then texts from other numbers, then a message via a private social account I didn't recognize. All Sylvie, all saying the same things. He's dying, he needs you, you owe him, please. After a week of this, I told Daniel what was happening. We were having dinner, Ethiopian food from our favorite place. He was telling me about a project at work when I just blurted it out. My father is dying and his partner wants me to pay for his hospice care. Daniel put down his fork. Your father? The one who... Yeah, that one. What did you tell her? No. He nodded slowly. How do you feel about that? That's what I loved about Daniel. He didn't tell me what to do. He asked how I felt. I feel like I'm making the correct choice, I said, and I also feel like a wicked person. You're not a wicked person. He's dying, Daniel. I know. What if I regret it? What if he dies and I never got to... I stopped. To what? To hear him apologize? To get some resolution? None of that is going to happen. Probably not, Daniel agreed. But you need to do what's right for you, not what some hypothetical future version of you might want. I loved him for that too. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about my father. Not the father who chose Sylvie over me, not the father who squandered my mother's insurance money, the father who put planets on my ceiling, who taught me how to change a tire, who cried when I won the 5th grade science fair, the father who existed before Mom got sick. At 4 a.m., I did something I hadn't done in years. I searched for him online. It didn't take long to find information. People leave digital imprints everywhere these days. He was in a hospice facility in West Mesa. The reviews were not good. Understaffed, patients left unattended, wouldn't recommend. State aid was covering the rudimentary care, but rudimentary in hospice means morphine and a bed. No private room, no supplemental nursing care, no comfort measures beyond the bare minimum. I found myself on the facility's website looking at the pricing for upgraded care. Private suite, $250 a day. Personal nurse, $175 a day. Advanced pain management, $120 a day. For 2 weeks of care, you'd hit $9,500 easily. I closed the laptop. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't. The next day, I got a call from a number with a 602 area code, Phoenix area. I almost didn't answer, but something made me. Is this Audrey Tan? Yes, this is Maria Lopez. I'm a social worker at Sunrise Valley Palliative Center. I'm calling about your father, Arthur Tan. My heart started pounding. Is he... He's stable for now, but I wanted to reach out because his partner listed you as next of kin, and there are some decisions that need to be made regarding his care. His partner should make those decisions. A pause. Miss Winters, Sylvie, isn't actually his spouse, not legally. I sat up straight. What? They never filed the marriage certificate. I don't know if it was an oversight or intentional, but legally, she has no authority to make medical decisions. You're the only living relative. You're his next of kin. I didn't know what to say. I know this is difficult, Maria continued, but we need someone to sign off on his DNR status. Right now, we're required to attempt resuscitation if his heart stops, unless we have documentation stating otherwise. Does he want a DNR? He's not clear enough to say, but given his condition, resuscitation would only prolong suffering. It's customary in these cases. What does Sylvie want? Another pause. Miss Winters wants us to do everything possible, but again, she doesn't have legal authority. My mind was racing. Why did she list me as next of kin if they're not married? I think she assumed you'd be willing to sign whatever she wanted. I probably shouldn't say this, but she seems more concerned about the appearance of the situation than your father's comfort. What do you mean? Maria lowered her voice. She's been posting on social media about what a devoted companion she is, how she's caring for him. There are fundraising links. People have been contributing money for his care. A cold feeling settled in my stomach. How much money? I don't know, but she's been very active online. Private donation platforms, social media platforms, image sharing sites. She's telling people that his daughter abandoned him. Of course she was. Can I think about this? I asked. Of course, but if you could let me know soon, I'll call you back tomorrow. I hung up and immediately started searching. It took me 10 minutes to find it. Sylvie's fundraiser. Help Arthur fight his illness. abandoned by his daughter. The description made me sick. My dearest partner Arthur is dying of biliary tract cancer. He's in torment every day. His only daughter has turned her back on him in his time of need, refusing to help despite having the resources to do so. I'm reaching out to the generosity of strangers to help give Arthur the dignified, comfortable end he deserves. Every contribution helps. Please share. She'd raised $28,000. $28,000. There were comments. What kind of daughter abandons her dying father? Praying for you and Arthur. So sorry you're going through this alone. Some people have no heart. God bless you for standing by him. I felt like I was going to be sick. Daniel found me an hour later still staring at the screen. Babe, you okay? I showed him the fundraiser. He read it. His jaw tightened. This is fraud. Is it though? He is dying. She is asking for money for his care, but she's lying about you and she's probably pocketing the money. I don't have proof of that. Daniel sat down next to me. What do you want to do? I want to expose her. I want everyone to know what she really is. Okay. But I also don't want to deal with her. I don't want her in my life. I don't want any of this in my life. Also fair. I looked at him. What would you do? I'm not you, Ah. I didn't go through what you went through. But if you were me, he thought for a long moment. I think I'd want to know the truth about your father. Not what she says, but what he actually thinks. Whether he really was ashamed. Whether he ever wanted to make things right. He's not clear. The social worker said he's not clear enough to make medical decisions. That doesn't mean he's never clear. I knew what Daniel was suggesting, and I knew he was right. I called Maria back the next morning. I want to visit him, I said. Before I make any decisions, I need to see him. Of course. When would you like to come? Today. I'll make sure you have privacy.
I drove to West Mesa that afternoon. Just me. Daniel offered to come, but I needed to do this alone. The facility was worse than I'd imagined. Harsh lighting, the smell of sanitizer trying and failing to cover other smells. Sounds I didn't want to identify. Maria met me at the main desk. She was kind-faced, middle-aged, with tired eyes. He's had a good afternoon, she said. Relatively speaking, he's been awake, talking a little. Is Sylvie here? She left about an hour ago. I may have mentioned you were coming. Thank you. Room 21. Take your time. I walked down the hall. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I stood outside room 21 for a full minute before I could make myself open the door. The man in the bed didn't look like my father. He was skeletal. Gray. His breathing was shallow. There were monitors and lines everywhere. But it was him. I stood in the doorway and he turned his head slowly. Our eyes met. I watched recognition dawn, watched his expression change. Ow. His voice was barely a whisper. I stepped into the room. Hello, Dad. Tears started running down his face. You came. I pulled a chair up to his bed, sat down. Didn't know what to say. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. And just like that, 10 years of anger cracked open. Why? I asked. Why did you choose her over me? He closed his eyes. I was vulnerable, foolish, bereaved. She made me feel viable when everything else felt extinguished. She lied about me. I know you got a protective order against me. I know. Do you? Do you really know what that did to me? He opened his eyes. They were wet. I knew the day I did it. But I'd already gone so far. I thought if I admitted I was wrong, it would mean I'd lost you for nothing.
that I destroyed our relationship for a woman who... He coughed, gasped. I waited. A woman who never loved me, he finished. She loved the idea of stability, of money. When that was gone, she just stayed. I don't know why. Routine. Maybe. She's raising money, saying I abandoned you. A bitter smile. Of course she is. She raised $28,000, Dad. His eyes widened. What? Online fundraising. She's telling everyone you're dying alone because your daughter won't help. That's not factual. I know, but everyone else thinks it is. He closed his eyes again. I'll tell them. I'll make a statement, or... You can barely breathe. You're not making any statements. Then you tell them. Tell them the truth. The truth is complicated. The truth is I destroyed my relationship with my daughter because I was a coward and a fool, he said, with more strength than I'd heard from him since I arrived. The truth is she turned out incredible despite me, not because of me. The truth is I don't deserve you here right now, but I'm grateful you came anyway. I started crying. I didn't mean to. I promised myself I wouldn't. I missed you, he said. Every day. Every single day. You could have called and said what? Sorry I chose a woman who falsely accused you of assault over my own daughter? Sorry I squandered your mother's insurance money? I wiped my own cheeks. He whispered, Sorry I wasn't there when you needed me most. Yes, that. Exactly that. Would you have forgiven me? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know. Honestly, maybe not. But at least I would have known you tried. He nodded weakly. That's fair. We sat in silence for a while, just breathing together. The social worker, Maria, came by and said, You need a DNR signed. Yes, I finally said. Maria asked, You sure? I'm sure. I'm ready. I'm tired. Okay, Audrey. Yeah. The money she raised, it's fraud. She's going to keep it. I know. Don't let her get away with it. I smiled despite everything. I'll handle it. That's my girl. Yeah. I stayed for 2 more hours. We talked about Mom, about the good times before everything went wrong. We spoke about the glow-in-the-dark stars. They're still up there. In my mind, every night, I look at the ceiling wherever I am and I see them. I see you. 6 years old, making wishes on plastic stars. What did I wish for? You don't remember? You wish that we'd be a family forever, that nothing would ever change. I had to leave after that. It was too much. I'll come back. Tomorrow? You don't have to. I want to. I signed the DNR before I left. Maria walked me through it. You're doing the right thing. I know. I drove back to my apartment in Henderson to Daniel. I told him everything. Then I got to work. I spent that evening documenting everything. I compiled the restraining order, the court documents, the emails from Sylvie, the timeline of events. I wrote it all out, clear, factual, no emotion, just facts. Then I went to the GoFundMe page and clicked Report Campaign. I attached my documentation. I explained that Sylvie was not legally married to my father, that she'd raised money under false pretenses, and that she'd misrepresented my involvement. I hit submit. Then I did something I hadn't done in 10 years. I posted on Facebook. My name is Audrey Tan. My father, David Tan, is dying of pancreatic cancer.
I am his daughter, and I am his next of kin. I am not abandoning him. I visited him today. We reconciled. He is receiving care. A GoFundMe has been created in his name by someone claiming to be his wife. They are not married. The funds raised are not being used for his care, as he's already covered by Medicare and hospice services. I've reported the campaign for fraud. If you donated, I encourage you to request a refund. I'm sharing this not for sympathy, but for truth. Thank you. I posted it publicly, tagged the hospice, tagged the city. Then I waited. The response was immediate. Within an hour, people started commenting. People who donated, people who knew Sylvie, people who'd had their suspicions all along. I knew something seemed off. She's always been like this, filing for a refund now. The GoFundMe was taken down by midnight. Sylvie called me at 2 a.m. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail screaming, crying, calling me every name you can imagine. I saved it just in case. I visited Dad every day for the next week. He grew weaker each day, more tired, but he was peaceful. On the fourth day, he asked me about my life. Really asked about my job, my boyfriend, my apartment. You did good. Your mom would be proud. I wish she could have seen it. She can. I believe that. On the sixth day, he asked me if I'd forgiven him. I'm working on it. Honestly. That's all I can ask. On the seventh day, he told me where to find some things. A box in a storage unit, Unit 247. The key was in an envelope in his wallet. What's in it? Things I saved for you. Letters I wrote but never sent. Photos. Your mom's jewelry. The necklace. I got it back. I stared at him. What? About 5 years ago, Sylvie pawned it, but I tracked it down. Took me 2 years, cost me more than it was worth, but I got it back. For you. I couldn't speak. There's something else in there, he said. An envelope with money. It's not much. $12,000. I saved it little by little. From work. I kept it hidden. It was supposed to be for your graduation, or your wedding, or just when you needed it. I want you to have it. I don't need it. I know, but take it anyway. Let me give you something. After I took everything away. I took his hand. It was so thin, so fragile.
Thank you, I whispered. He died 2 days later. I was there holding his hand. He drifted off peacefully. The nurse said it was one of the easier passings she'd seen. Sylvie showed up an hour after he passed. She looked rough, angry. "You've ruined everything," she said. "I told the truth. You took away his money people wanted to give to help him. Money you were going to steal. I took care of him for 10 years. You isolated him, manipulated him, used him." She laughed bitterly. "And what did you do? You abandoned him, left him with nothing. I was here when he died. Where were you?" She didn't have an answer for that. "I want his things," she said. "He would have wanted me to have them." Her face went white. "He left a will. You're not in it. You're lying. Dad updated his will 3 years ago. Everything goes to me. Not that there's much, but what there is, it's mine. I'll fight this." "With what money? The GoFundMe is gone. You have no claim to his estate. You weren't even legally married." She stared at me with pure hatred. "He never loved you," I said quietly. "He told me that. In the end, he knew exactly what you were." She turned and left. I never saw her again. The storage unit was exactly where Dad said it would be, Inside the box, I found 317 letters, all addressed to me, all unsent, dating back 10 years. Some were long, some were just a few sentences. I miss you. I'm sorry. I hope you're happy. There were photos of me as a kid, of Mom and me, of our family before everything fell apart. Mom's necklace was carefully wrapped in tissue paper and an envelope with $12,000 in cash with a note. The note read, this doesn't make up for anything. I know that. But it's a start. I'm proud of you. I always was, even when I couldn't say it. Love, Dad. I sat in that storage unit and read every letter. Some made me angry, some made me sad. Some made me laugh, remembering inside jokes I'd forgotten we had. But mostly, they made me realize something. People are complicated. Grief is complicated. Forgiveness is complicated. My father made terrible choices. He hurt me deeply. He let someone toxic into our lives and paid the price. But he also tried in his own broken way to make things right. I'm wearing Mom's necklace as I write this. The $12,000 is going into a savings account for something meaningful. I'm not sure what yet. Daniel and I are talking about getting married, maybe starting a family. I think about what kind of mother I want to be, what kind of mistakes I might make. I hope I'll do better than my father did. But I also hope if I mess up, someone will give me the chance he never gave himself, the chance to say sorry, the chance to make it right, the chance to be forgiven. I think that's what Mom would have wanted for both of us.
I'm wearing my mother's necklace now, proof that even after a decade of silence, my father still showed up for me in the end. He left me the truth and a whole lot of questions. I want to know, what would you have done? If you've been through a struggle like this, what helped you forgive? Drop a comment below with your thoughts and share your story. I'm reading every single one. Like this video and subscribe so you don't miss what I decide to do with that $12,000. Thanks for listening.